Welcome everyone on this gorgeous balloon morning. I even wore my balloon shirt that my daughter-in-law made for me. And I have some stories to tell you today. 2 days ago I came into Wheels and I don't know, I wasn't feeling my very best. And I thought, should I go home? No, I've never gone home. I've never done that in 30 years of working here. And I had a feeling that something very good was going to happen. In about an hour there was a knock on the door and a man whom I did not know came into the building. He tells me, I'm a pilot and I have an airplane I would like to give you. So it's a story of never giving up hope and hoping that airplane comes through the door. So this is a 57 foot wingspan, very beautiful Grob 103, if you know what that is, glider airplane, a white airplane. So all of our aviation crew came running over. I said, come over, we want to talk about this airplane, this possible donation. And everyone is very excited about it. The question will be, are we able to hang it in the ceiling? So we're going to talk about the structure of the building, which is concrete and very heavily built. And we do have 2 other airplanes hanging in the building now, but this is 900 pounds. We do have an 1,100 pound winch, and we do have men who are engineers, and we think we can do this. The building is not quite wide enough for it, so we will hang it at an angle, and I hope that we will have this done in a few weeks and that everyone will come and see our new airplane hanging from the ceiling. We're trying to greatly enhance our aviation experience here at the museum. We, of course, have a lot about trains and automobiles, and we have some things about airplanes, but we're increasing that now. So we're absolutely thrilled that this man comes in unexpectedly, so you never know when you answer your front door who might be there. Oh, we're always working and hoping and contacting people and hoping that that will happen. I'm reading a very interesting book by Tom Brokaw about South Dakota, his family in South Dakota, but it's relevant to what we're doing here. The story of the pioneers who came and the difficulties and where we are now as to airplanes and space. But I'd like to tell you some couple of little stories that people have told me about the early days as to the railroad. And before I tell you this, having done this 30 years, every day I find this more important, and the more I learn how essential the railroad and transportation are to our world. So I hope that you all feel that same way and want to help with this story. The first story I want to tell you is about a lady who lived across the street. They had 19 children, and the father was a tie mover, and he worked for 9 years moving railroad ties here on the property, and they're very heavy. If you've ever tried to lift a railroad tie, you're talking about hundreds of pounds. And for that work, he got 1 penny a piece. So he made 90 cents a day to support 21 people. Food was very scarce. One lady told me that only at Christmas time did they have fruits and vegetables. So when children come in, I tell them this story, and they can't believe it. But I ask them, well, what did people eat at that time? And even the children, they mostly know they had potatoes and beans, some corn, maybe rice, some meat. So food was very scarce in those times, and people didn't have the grocery stores. They didn't have the opportunities. Some of them were farmers, and they would grow some items to eat, but it was very difficult. One of the saddest stories I've ever heard about the railroad, someone came in and told me that they had 23 children right here in the neighborhood. The mother had 23 children, and only 11 of them survived. And I asked her, why would that be? And she said, in those days, if your name was, let's just use this name, Baca, you were expected to marry a Baca. And it was not known that at that time, the troubles that could happen by that kind of inbreeding. And the people didn't know, and there was a great loss of children over those years. And then of course, it became known what the dangers were in that, and that stopped. But there was so much that was not known at that time, and so much struggle at that time. But luckily, the railroad brought economics, it brought the housing, it brought education, and many of the people, of course, are now professional people and living good lives. But the background for many, including my family, was very poor here. And my father told me that their neighbors were so poor on South High Street that our family, which was poor, would give them meat. Our family was in the meat business. And the neighbor children would eat popcorn for breakfast because they could not afford cereal and popcorn was cheaper, and they would eat that. So these are the beginning stories of our railroad. To move to last weekend, I'd like to tell you, we had New Mexico Railroad Days, and that was very successful. The steam locomotive was here. We had a car show. We had vendors. The rail yard market was open. So it was really booming last weekend, and the people who didn't come, many of them have called me, oh, when is the train coming? I said, well, you missed the train, but it will be back. It will come again, and hopefully long term. But it's a magnificent vehicle weighing about 1 million pounds, and of course, it's our baby, even though it's that big a baby, and we all love it. And when that whistle blows, everybody goes running to see that gorgeous train, which its home was here. And you may know that the men who bought it paid $1 for it, and they've spent about $3.5 million to fix it up over 20 years. So it's been a huge labor of love, similar to the Wheels Museum, which has now over 10,000 items. This morning I came down about 7 o'clock with a friend, a volunteer, and we hung paintings. And I have a theory about Wheels Museum that there should not be 1 square inch that's vacant or empty. So we're trying to fill this up with items that are of interest to many, many people. We've gotten a lot of donations lately. We've got a lot of new pictures of car racing, which are very, very interesting. We've gotten a lot of Western pictures have come in, beautiful artwork. We're making a display of that. We're making a new African American exhibit in the front room. All of our new showcases, which we bought to tell the stories of individual people who worked here, are full and very, very beautiful, and I hope that you will come and see those. So we're really, really making progress here, and hoping that you will be interested in what we're doing and come and see us when you can. And we have a lot of events coming up all the time. Today we have a birthday party. We have about 35 people in the building for a birthday party. We do that for all ages. We've done it for 90 years olds and 9 months, well, when they become 1 year old, all kinds of ages. And that's a lot of fun. Do a lot of musical events. And also at Wheels, we do have a room about phonograph records and typewriters and all kinds of old equipment like that. We have World War II records. So anything that moves in a circle, come in here and see it. On the 9th, we have Ron Perea, who's given us many talks and written many books. He's going to talk about Route 66. So come at 11 o'clock for that speech. He's a very sweet, wonderful speaker and historian. He loves Albuquerque, from Albuquerque. So come and hear him. And then, let me see. On the 16th, we have a new program. It's called A Create You. And this is a wonderful lady who comes and teaches art lessons. And it's $35 to do this. Part of the proceeds will go to Wheels. And she's going to be coming at 11 o'clock, 11 to 2. And she's the sweetest, lovely lady. And you're going to paint a picture, something about something in Wheels Museum that you can take home on a beautiful canvas that will be your own artwork. And you'll have a lot of fun doing it. And always remember the Wheels Museum and the experience. And then on the 23rd, we have Baker Morrow coming. Baker Morrow wrote a book, which I have right here, and it is called The Horse on the Sidewalk. And this is a book about motorcycles in Albuquerque. And he is growing up here in the Northeast Heights, and about the motorcycle history. So this is a lot of fun. He's a fabulously interesting, wonderful man who has been a professor at UNM for 50 years. And he wrote this kind of lighthearted book, I would say, about motorcycles in Albuquerque. So I hope that you will come to that event. We're always looking for more events. If you have an idea, if you want to do a presentation here, if you want to hear me give a presentation about the history, any ideas that you have, if you play music, author, whatever you have, we're here to serve the community. So we hope that you will come and see us and call us. Our phone number is 505-243-6269. We're here Monday through Thursday mornings and Saturdays and Sundays. Well, thank you for listening, and call me anytime with any ideas.